Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Curfew imposed in section of Bridgeport, St. Catherine. A curfew has been imposed in sections of Southborough community in Bridgeport, St. Catherine. The curfew began at 6 p.m. Thursday, March 10, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. Saturday, March 12. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows. North along Brayton Parkway from the intersection with Newland Road to Germain Road. Along Germain Road from Brayton Parkway to the southern boundary. South along an imaginary line approximately 992 meters from Germain Road to Newland Road. West along Newland Road from the south boundary to Brayton Park. During the hours of the curfew, all individuals within the boundaries of the curfew are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. National Stadium to be restored as part of Jamaica 60 Legacy Projects. The Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport says it has identified several legacy projects to be implemented in celebration of the nation's Diamond Jubilee this year. According to a release, chief among these legacy plans is the renovation of the National Stadium, the establishment of 2 museums focusing on sport and music, the development of the Montego Bay Performing Arts Center, and the creation of the Usain Bolt University of the West Indies UWI Sports Medical Center. Minister Oliver Grange provided details while addressing residents and non-residents head of diplomatic missions at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, downtown Kingston, on March 9. She informed that the renovations to the National Stadium will include adding 10,000 seats as well as covering for a section of the bleachers. We will put the shovel in the ground early 2023, but all our plans are being put in place during this year, she said. Minister Grange noted that the designs have been completed and approval has been received from the Public Investment Management Secretariat. The bleachers area of the National Stadium will be partially covered, and we will have a new grandstand. We will have a state-of-the-art anti-doping facility, and in addition to having major events there, we will have banquet facilities as well, she said. Regarding the creation of the Sports Museum, Grange said that the design has been completed. We have actually started collecting artifacts for the facility and doing training in the preservation of such artifacts, she indicated. As it relates to the Jamaica Music Museum, she said that the facility will be situated downtown Kingston, adjoining the Institute of Jamaica building, and the Montego Bay Performing Arts Center to be built will have a 1,000 seating capacity. Mr. Green said the government will be partnering with sprint legend Usain Bolt for the establishment of the Usain Bolt University of the West Indies Sports Medical Center. All these major projects will be formalized during a 60th anniversary, and then over a 3 to 5 year period, we will roll out the projects and they will be becoming lasting legacies, she pointed out. Green said further that a series of year-long celebratory activities will be held to commemorate Jamaica's 60th independence anniversary celebrations, including the Jamaica Defense Force Military Tattoo and Grand Gala. In addition, 60 women as well as 60 personalities in sports will be recognized. Minister Grange encouraged the heads of the missions to partner with the government for the Diamond Jubilee celebrations. We welcome whatever contributions you can make in enhancing what we are doing. For the independence celebration, we have already reached out to some members of the diplomatic community to assist us in having certain performances or visiting troops. We have spoken to, for example, Nigeria about assisting us with a dance troupe because we want to make the Grand Gala one of the biggest and best. So, we appreciate any contribution we can get in terms of cultural groups, she said. Edufocal pandemic reach. Education technology company Edufocal has been exhibiting much resilience during the COVID-19 pandemic, tripling profits during the period. Since the pandemic, revenues have grown from 27 million in 2019 to 103 million in 2020, with projections of year-end profit jumping to 322 million in 2022. Projects for 2023 is projected to soar even further to 355 million. Edufocal co-founder and CEO Gordon Swaby points out that although the company has seen an increase in business due to the pandemic. It has been working with learning institutions for years prior to COVID-19 outbreak. Speaking as a guest at Mayberry Regular Inventors briefing on Thursday, Swaby asserted, "This company is not a pandemic company. We were created before the pandemic and have been growing since." Continuing, Swaby said, "We have relationships with over 100 schools, so I'm happy to see that schools are reopening. The Ministry of Education is a key partner of Edufocal, and we will be working with them over the next couple of years to assist students who are suffering from learning loss." He boasted that the 10-year Edufocal, which is still celebrating its recent initial public offer (IPO) of shares, is currently on a growth path, arguing that if the company continues on its path of growth, projected revenues for 2022 would result in growth of 91%, well above the December quarter revenues annualized of around $240 million. Swaby assured investors that Edufocal's possibilities from growth are limitless. The Edufocal boss told the virtual audience, "We can still stay in our current range of investment, push customer acquisition and business development sales, and still far outpace our growth in the past. It's a lot of people talk about us as PEP Primary Exit Program Company, but Edufocal is an edutech company that currently facilitates the preparation for the PEP exams." He pointed to the fact that business opportunities for the company are endless, noting that it can facilitate CSEC, SATs, and even SEA in Trinidad and Tobago. In addition, there are many possibilities for Edufocal and our growth. Edufocal has been transforming schools and companies with its e-learning platform and e-courses since 2012. Over 100,000 parents have trusted Edufocal to prepare their students for the Grade 6 Achievement Test (GSAT), and now its replacement PEP. Swaby declaring his pleasure with the company's performance following its decision to go public. Edufocal exceeded its IPO target at Jamaica $130 million, priced at Jamaica $1 per share. Also sharing at the forum was Mayberry's Senior Vice President of Investment Banking, Dan Terok, who also expressed confidence in the future of the company. "I do think it's a stock that is going places. I remember meeting you 2 years ago and being very excited about it. And I continue to be excited about Edufocal's future," Don said. He remarked that as long as you guys continue to offer quality products and services, people will want to utilize the platform for themselves or their kids. The online social learning community scaled strongly during the pandemic, which changed the trajectory of the company. The IPO was set to run from March 30, 2017, but was closed within minutes of opening after the company gained approximately Jamaica $415 million in oversubscriptions. Investors want to revive mobile to Apachan train. Almost 30 years after the discontinuation of railway services across the country, a potential investor is seeking to resume train operations in western Jamaica. According to the Minister of Transport and Mining, R.D. Shaw, the investors had made a formal application to the Government of Jamaica to operate rail service for Mobile in St. James to Appleton Estate in St. Elizabeth. The minister said that the initial thinking was to lease the land to the interested company. However, a shared use system is favored, similar to the arrangement that now obtained between the Jamaica Railway Corporation and the backside companies that utilize the railway lines to transport backside. This shared use arrangement, Shaw noted, has been in place for many years. Under the arrangement, the operator for the Mobile to Appleton train will pay a rental fee for the use of the lines to provide the service within Jamaica's tourism industry. They want to be able to carry tourists from Montego Bay, get into Montpelier, Ipswich and Appleton, and then take the tourists on a tour of the Appleton estate, the minister said. Shaw explained that the first phase of the project would start in Montpelier, with the second phase from Mobile to Montpelier to come on stream later. The Transport Minister said that the reactivation of the Mobile to Appleton Estate service is part of the government's thrust to resurrect the railway service across the island. 60 students to get internships in the entertainment, culture and creative industry, says Grange. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange says the ministry intends to make its program of awarding internships for students to engage in the creative industries an ongoing one. Grange's announcement came as she spoke at a function on Wednesday, March 9, where 30 students were presented with their certificates of internship and introduced to the private sector facilitators with whom they will initially intern for a year. Another 30 internships will be awarded to complete 60. I want to make it known to everyone that it is a recognition of 60 for Jamaica 60. The other 30 will be awarded later in the year, the minister said. As I said at our first and very successful Jamaica Creative Career Expo, which we held in February, we are showing our young people that we are committed to building a future for Jamaica creatives. We are observing them that we are in their corner. Green said that the internships were for students who are interested in the diverse careers within the creative sector. The students were selected from educational institutions across the island, so far located in St. James, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. A number of the companies and entities facilitating the internships were also presented at the award function held at the AC Marriott Hotel. Some of the private sector companies are Ray and Nephew, Main Event, Phase 3 Production, the Jamaica Observer Newspaper, Sagicor, and Maxine Waters Productions Jamaica. Public sector entities are the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission JCDC, the Creative Production and Training Center CPTC, and the Philip Sherlock Center for the Creative Arts. Grange said the internship program was a great example of public sector private sector collaboration, a creative partnership that is so long overdue between us, she argued. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.